That's like naming your werewolf character Lupin. No writer worth their salt would make something that on the nose. Ferris Manus, the father of the Iron Hands. Fellas, is it gay to simp for Sanguinius? Then the bigger your laser. Hosey YouTube. I am Stellatrix, coming at you live from a starship near you. Today we will be perceiving every single Warhammer 40k faction explained, part 1, by the one, the only Bricky. I don't know anything about Bricky. I don't know anything about Warhammer 40k. I've seen a lot of VTubers react to this, and I am a monkey. I see and I do. Strap in, strap on, and all your views belong to me. That's the wrong game.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will.
Is he a heretic because he doesn't serve the Omnissiah? My understanding is that if you don't serve the Omnissiah, you should die. Is this interpretation correct?
Will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about to add a little bit more context and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing. So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time. This is, I need 2 hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, mostly lore, what they're all about, and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is.
That's
now you see Warhammer and
He's talking to me, chat! He's talking directly to me!
Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear
his legs
of, but don't know a whole lot about.
True.
They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it. I don't understand.
It's spiky
Where do
bitches.
I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have a little bit of knowledge, but you're kind of curious about each of the different races and factions in Warhammer. So overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background, and each different faction is so different with the things that they believe in.
Blood Angels, that sounds cool.
Some are trans.
Wait, that looked like an adult Link. Wait, I want to be a space wolf! Oh my god, I want to be a space wolf!
Is so different with the things that they believe.
I'm not a furry!
Leave him, and some are huge.
Tell me that doesn't look like an adult Link, though. This is just Link, but when he's 40. It doesn't? It does. No, it does! He's blonde, he's got the ponytail, he's got the green tunic. Remember to spay and neuter your space wolf.
Human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy
transhuman
electronics on them. You've got aliens and you've got the chaos factions. There's so much to entail. I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is about, and what the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this extremely bloated but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So, I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40k universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it, because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go.
Yeah, it's a little bit much for this 51-minute video that apparently he redid and made 1 hour and 56 minutes.
Go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit
of be a space wolf
as well, in case you were curious about that. But for this episode entirely,
I want to be an angel or a space wolf.
The Imperium of Man, because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore. Oh, boo-hoo! What is Warhammer 40,000?
Please,
well,
tell me.
The 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000, the 41st millennium. That's where it takes place, is in the year 40,000, 41,000 AD.
Relative to what? Whose time scale are we basing this? Is this Earth? Is this Earth's 40k? Or is it its own thing? It is ours? Okay, so like Earth is a thing. Okay, this is our time scale. Okay.
You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote, first of many quotes in this video.
He called me knowledgeable.
It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods.
So Warhammer was made by me when I was 14. That's what I've gathered so far. It was written by a bunch of emo kids that never grew out of their emo phase. My kind of people. Got it. Okay. Okay. You have my attention.
Everything blows. And it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction.
Is that a challenge? That sounds like a challenge.
Or at least like top 3. Everything is so absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered.
Wait, I think the only thing that I really remember about Warhammer is that there's this race of females, if you could call them that. There's this race that just kind of like uses the females, I think, just, you know, as like wombs and nothing more. I feel like that's the only thing that I know beyond the like obvious memeable stuff. Yeah, I heard about that. I read about that and I was like, oh damn, that's hilarious. Like, it's so messed up. It's so messed up that it's hilarious. I'm interested.
That it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War rages across the galaxy. Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who you believe to be your god.
Okay, so we're using souls. Soul fuel is how we're explaining FTL travel. Can't argue with that gap in scientific knowledge.
Demonic gods and just demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim.
I should add for the YouTube spoobs, this, even though I know that I'm never going to be somebody that like plays Warhammer or anything, I am an aspiring author creating my own universe, and I am absolutely interested in this stuff and learning about this and seeing what I can apply to my books and the world that I am building. So this is right up my alley. I am very excited to perceive.
Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy.
Hell yeah.
It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks.
So Dragon Ball.
But that's like the charm of it. Everything in Warhammer is evil. But being evil is kind of fun. Like, humanity, in its own right, is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kills each other.
No. How do you be xenophobic? How do you be xenophobic? Like you don't even have a. everything is you at this point. How can you be? There are no more Xenos to phobe. What do you mean xenophobic? Everything's a Xeno.
They kill all of their enemies, and they're like mid to high tier evil on the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good. No matter who you are, everyone is some flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going
What color of evil are you, chat? I'm blue.
to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool. They look cool, they got cool outfits, they got cool weapons, they got cool armies. Villains are cool, man. And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming.
When everyone's a villain, no one is.
Bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
It's hair, whack. It's gear, whack.
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the emperor of mankind.
Wow, he's got some great hair.
Psychic demigod who led humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds, create superhuman
Okay, so Space Britain.
soldiers, and really bring humanity into a new age. This man, the Emperor of Mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40k, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory dimension of hell. And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff. Like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff,
okay, that's in the name.
And lots of other things.
that is what psi means usually.
Big boy psyker. Top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 20.
Okay, so the sons like S-U-N-S, right? Sons. Big balls of gas, Primarchs. Am I following so far? Oh no, it is S-O-N-S. Like child. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get a grasp on the scope of things here. Progeny. Got it. Okay, thank you.
18 Primarchs to have them lead all of the different legions of humanity to the different stars and planets to help colonize and bring it out. These Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 of the 18, half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now, if you want to know what Chaos
what kind of parent chooses favorites?
The warp, that immaterium, the hellish place, in there relies the 4 chaos gods. Imagine like Satan and 3 other Satans. The warp kind of evil, those chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those chaos gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth. And they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor. And right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but...
Is this the weird guy that is like, wee, 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 flesh is weak, wee, 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 boo-hoo, boo-hoo, skin bad? Is that this guy? No? Really? That's not this guy? Damn. I really don't know anything.
Slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000 people a day. The Astronomicon is like the North Star.
Okay, so we're not feeding the Omnissiah 1,000 souls. What kind of Omnissiah is he if he's not eating 1,000 souls a day? What is he doing? Was he eating 10,000 souls a day? How much more Omni can he, like, is he not putting his shopping cart back in the shopping cart return when he's done?
do interstellar travel in 40k, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If
well,
you
that's nice of him.
From Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp, and then you need to know where you're going, go through there, and pop your way out.
It literally is
doing
Minecraft.
Yeah, in Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas. So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity. You're so boned. Now, since the Horus Heresy,
but how did he already explain how we got to this? Did he explain how this man was elevated to the consumption of souls? Did I miss that? Or is that just like not explained? Like how no, okay, he hasn't explained it yet. It's a minor detail. This is why I told you to watch Re-Explained. YouTube, if you make this perform well, I'll react to the Re-Explained one.
10,000 years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you have this thing called the Ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor God, the God Emperor of mankind. And all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name. The Imperium has this futuristic gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. Heretics die in 40k.
Okay.
There is no such thing as freedom of religion. There is no such thing as freedom of speech, so long as you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others, but no matter what, you preach in that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If you
I feel like, I don't know what it is. I just have this vibe that dying isn't the least of your worries. It's a mercy and an easy way out. Yeah, that's what I've gathered so far.
Chaos gods, you are also a heretic and you deserve death. If you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well. So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
Pretty shit now, man. You finished?
The Star Guard.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women
just regular people,
modern day like black armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun, the main weapon of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate. It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall an extremely
that man looks really sad.
In modern day, it is one of the weakest in the 40k universe.
Jokingly referred to as a flashlight?
Oh man! It could blow off limbs. One of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares?
I feel like Bricky has done a really good job so far setting up the tone, because as soon as he described that weapon, I was like, oh boy, that's a squirt gun, isn't it? That's just a little squirt gun.
Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women, 30,000 large armored tanks, 10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower. They kind of have this World War I
I don't know, I feel like that's not that many when you're talking on the scope of billions. That was emphasized multiple times. Billions? And you have 500,000? Do you have a concept of how big a billion is? A billion isn't just a million, but bigger. A billion is a lot of millions. A lot of millions. Many, many millions. Are you gonna teach us about math?
On World War II style aesthetic with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them, and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin jungle fighters live in a death world.
All of the men in these images are so beefy.
So they just have this steroid-looking giant.
Is this the male fantasy? Do men want to be this beefy? Is this what the boys want? You want to be Rambo?
Knife, Rambo, Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple night on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years, the Mordian Iron Guard who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle, and then of course the big one,
Wait a minute. If we're living in a fantasy world, explain to me why you wouldn't wish you had an excellent physique while you're at it. There are different ways to have an excellent physique, and this highly unattainable body type generally isn't actually... Well, it depends on your goal. This is like mostly aesthetic, not functional. They might go a bit heavy on the baby oil, but still. First of all, this isn't attainable. But second of all, the like human actual attainable version of this is mostly for aesthetic. It's not functional. This is not functional muscle. So I am just fascinated by seeing what the men consider peak male performance.
A simple night on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years, the Mordian Iron Guard who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle, and then of course the big one, the Cadians from Cadia. The biggest export of guardsmen in...
That's like calling us Earthins from Earth. I mean, that basically is what Terrans are, but at least Earth and Terra are used differently. Earthlings, yeah. Yeah, but that's not like a race. I guess maybe it's just not a race yet because we haven't established it as a race because we don't have xenophobia. We don't have we don't have space aliens to be racist against yet. Estrogen terrestrials. Don't you just hate the pregnant aliens? The estrogen terrestrials, the progesterestrials? I think the most terrifying thing about the universe is that either we are completely alone or we're not. Which one is more scary?
In the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at
5.
10. You will have pounding artillery drills.
Why do they take so long?
Day out at 15, and you'll fight your first swarm lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote, I have at my command an entire battle group of the Imperial Guard, 50 regiments, including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction in 40k.
I lost my mouse.
The army I collect the most.
Okay, that line kinda goes hard. Emperor, show mercy to the fool who stands against me, for I will not. Okay, so this universe is full of banging one-liners.
Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction.
That goes so hard.
40k. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for his god emperor. It's just poetic. They actually represent
poetic.
the main Imperial Guard.
That's the word I'd use.
Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships. Overall, they're pretty similar to how they sound, though a little bit expensive to collect, unfortunately. And they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more accurate fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines. The Angels of Death are up next. Space Marines are genetically engineered super soldiers and superhumans. They're given extra organs, their skin tissue is toughened, their bones are stronger, they're taller than the average person. They're pretty massive people, and these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before,
Space Wolves
oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed. That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated,
the
each Primarch
gene
has their own
seed,
legion.
okay.
Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines, Jagatai Khan has the White Scars, Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists, Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard, and there's a whole bunch of other sides.
This man is not named Corvus and in charge of the frickin' Raven Guard. Okay. Okay.
Sections that are also extremely interesting and have a
Friggin',
little bit more of a
that's like naming your werewolf character Lupin. No writer worth their salt would make something that on the nose. Ferrus Manus, the father of the Iron Hands. Corvus is Crow, I believe. Corax is Raven. And Angron is Angry. I never would have guessed. Warhammer 40k doesn't exactly take itself seriously. If it took itself too seriously, it never would have succeeded. Not at this level of grimdark 14. I'm 14 and this is deep edginess.
twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously enough,
the average Space Marines, right?
Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick.
True.
These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their reflexes are faster. Their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman are the main blue boys. Strong in almost every way. The jack of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem, but the White Scars by Jagatai Khan
that meant
are all
something
about
to
speed,
somebody
freaks,
who knows what's
fast.
going
We're talking
on.
Attack bikes, we're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick, you want to hit them hard, you want them to be swarming around like buzzflies. Buzzsaws. With the speed of buzzsaws.
You good?
Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier-than-thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare. They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle. Black. Like they have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior and blazing red eyes. Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall, salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is. Oh my god,
you gotta
we're not
have
even
the
a quarter
good
of the way
guys.
through the Space Marine legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets. Iron Hands, masters of machines and vehicles while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf. Space Wolves, Vikings and wolves and tons of wolves and axes, battle axes, fur everywhere. Space Wolves, angry, big teeth, Blood Angels, the genetic defect.
That one's me, chat. I'm the Space Wolf.
The Red Thirst. They have Cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark Angels are old school knights and inner circle.
Oh yes, I've heard a lot about Sanguinius.
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Death Watch, a fancy-pantsy anti-Xenos group that nobody plays because...
Fellas, is it gay to simp for Sanguinius? Space fellas, is it space gay to space simp for Sanguinius? Yes. Okay, but is that a bad thing?
Because Death Watch, and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though. Black Templars, for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock, and I'm sure there's some other.
Wait a minute. Space fellas, the sequel to Spaceballs. If it's space wrong to simp for Sangui, I don't want to be space right. That's the energy I was looking for. That's what I like to hear. Good job, Space Cowboys.
I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff, but those are the main ones.
We're almost halfway there.
Quote from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. And on the tabletop, they fuck. Oh, they fuck hard.
That's what's most important.
This video, Space Marines are laughably
how hard they go on the tabletop.
At some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife. A tool for anything you need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the
Isn't gold like
Warhammer,
super
Marines
weak?
are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all.
If Templars are war criminals, then call me Mr. Geneva's suggestion. That is a wild first message.
All of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology!
Not the technophobes.
Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now, these people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa, Bricky, that sounds like some heresy. A little bit.
I wasn't thinking that. Should I have been thinking that?
But they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah.
Oh, these are the boohoo fleshy wiki guys. Yeah. Okay. I got you. But like metal rusts, data corrupts. So like your logic is fallacious. Everything decomposes and deconstructs and falls apart. You're gonna have to stop entropy. Do they try to stop entropy? Do we get entropical?
This kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns. and they make all your tanks, and they make everything that you have, so you can't really tell them to fuck off, because you're not gonna win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, they're omniscient.
Wise words. I've never. I want somebody to put that on a plaque. You're not gonna win nothing if you don't got something to shoot people with. That was poeticism.
See, their omniscience at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The omniscience is present through all. And
is he present in the digital alarm clock I have that keeps trying to start an electrical fire?
The only reason your stuff works is because the
Omnisci is a bitch.
Spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work, your tank to run, you must pray to it. And I mean full stop. You need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes, and you need to go ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They are very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point because it's obviously working. And if you look at them,
so what I'm hearing, yeah, is that this is exactly why I have so much scuff and ADHD as a Neandroid, as the starship's navigation system. It's because I didn't pray hard enough to the Omniscia. I'm sorry. I shall repent for my sins.
I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Archmagos, Magos, whatever, Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Yeah.
Where's the dude part?
This is the group we're talking about. These are these weirdos. Here, the Omniscian Creed. The credo, Omniscia. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death. Flesh is weakness, flesh is death. The Omniscia is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that is how you will become enlightened. Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism.
Wild.
Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective, both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear. Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans, but if you like kind of that quirky, wacky techno thing, I'd give them a pickup.
I'm getting so engrossed that I'm forgetting to actually like say things.
They're so paranoid and crazy. These
I'm just like,
you see right here,
what next?
One guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle. Yep. The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though, let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
A simp has fallen for an e-girl in Lego City.
The Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce
Sororitas,
it correctly,
I see.
An all-female group of battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church, which is scary, and it is. The sisters are...
What did that say?
Which is...
I thought that said Stell. For Stell. I was like, oh, me?
Scary, and it is. The sisters are an extremely zealotous force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in three main things: faith, martyrdom, and fire. Through the bolter, the flamer,
fire
and the
is pretty
melta,
consistent,
the Sisters
yeah.
of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics. Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of heretic will face
naturally.
the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons, the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice. Literally. They are the closest things we have to nuns in space, and I'm talking hardcore nuns. They carry holy fire on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies that they have removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give them ammunition and shit. They drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods onto battles. They drop churches into battles and they blare war hymns and holy music from their frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield.
That's freaking hilarious.
Are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome.
That's hilarious. I love them.
Stave off demons on the tabletop because their faith is that strong. Remember the warp, the demons from the warp? Well, the warp also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are that mentally fortified, that mentally strong,
if you're that clocked in,
off horrifying demons. And
sorry,
all
locked in.
Oh, not a crack. Not a crack in that mental armor. Now, as much as a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gabloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore. I gotta say, I love their design.
I freaking love them.
Extremely cool. They're another army that I'm currently collecting. They just released a whole new line of figures very recently, and they look wonderful.
I like their aesthetic. They look cool.
Celestine, the living, literally undying saint from the triumph of Saint Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model. Those organ tanks I mentioned earlier. This shit is the most.
So, dare I ask, what do they do to the men? Are the men the babies that they turn into little tech cherubs? Or is it worse? The men stay in the church kitchen. The babies are vat grown. Oh, that makes it okay. That's fine. They have nothing against men. I feel like they gotta have a little something against men. They're the battle sisters, and only women join. It's all women because the church are not to have men under arms. So then where are the men? Doing everything else? In the guard, the Imperial Guard, okay. But can women join the Imperial Guard? So the battle sisters are just really, really, really into things particularly. But where do the men go that are really, really, really into things? I know he said men and women in the Imperial Guard section. I thought so, but this is all a lot to take in. They buy 40k figures. All are equal when dying for the Emperor. Oh my god, I stand equality. What the heck? That's so progressive.
Over-the-top badassery in a lot of the Warhammer universe, and goddamn it is it over the top, but Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman at heart, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter Shell, Flamer Burst, and Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence. So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the end of time. And speaking of burning demons,
I can see.
I love that segue.
The Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look at power armored knights, except they are all psychers. All of them have that crazy space
the crazy
magic
ones.
magician
The
shit.
crazy
For every
telepathic
100,000 guardsmen,
people.
there's one Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's one Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's one Grey Knight. Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's like the goal.
Demons of Chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming from the planet, or I guess the moon of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very.
So like, are demons kind of man-made? Is this like some Jujutsu Kaisen nonsense where you get edgy and emo enough and demons spawn? Yes, but mostly ancient alien PTSD made. Got it.
Very fast, especially lower level psychers.
Yeah, sentient beings.
These Grey Knights need to be able to harness the warp in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power, use my strength, suck my penis, whatever the possibility. And so he has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently. And he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard. He is.
That is the ultimate Giga Chad move of being perpetually faced with lust and telling your weapon, not today, harlot. That is peak Sigma Alpha Chad male behavior.
Is that pure of heart and mind, and all the characters in the Grey Knights are basically like that. The only issue is that Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy, in more ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons and the Grey Knights arrive and they kill all the demons, I'm a risk. And so guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop, they're very strike fast, strike hard kind of people. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers, and so every dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard. They're fun though if you like that kind of fast striking kind of army. Oh, and also Caldor Drago is a thing. We're not even gonna get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is, oh my goodness gracious. I am the Hammer.
I like that even 38 or so thousand years in the future, we're still using Latin. Like the de facto language it's Latin for everything. Very fascinating.
I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand.
They don't make dead languages like they used to.
On his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I am the shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of time. Grey Knights are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you want to, think they're holy enough, you want to be holier? Grey Knights. Now, if you want to be holier and big, let's talk Imperial Knights.
Oh, Lord, he coming!
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes or medium-sized buildings?
Who
do you
doesn't?
Want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them per turn?
Yes,
Do you want
please.
a gigantic old-school knight noble house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights.
I dream of this every night.
Talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old school like house feel to them, like literally like they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost everything in their path, killing full swaths of squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess around, and they look so cool. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your house. chaos or chaos god you currently believe in. And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer.
Don't we all just want to murder everything in our path? Isn't that why we're playing Warhammer 40k?
Game over back down to earth. Let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold. If guardsmen are regular soldiers, Space Marines are super soldiers, Grey Knights are super soldiers, the Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed.
Custodes, got it.
Custodes are the third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got carried away, okay, but that's all. I only have 3, okay?
This means nothing to... Is having 3 major armies a lot of armies? Is this the sort of pastime where you can dedicate all of your time to one army? They call it Warhammer 401k since you'll have to empty your 401k to afford it? Damn. So what do you do with the armies? Do you just... Are they pretty? Do you look at them and like admire them? Or does it have use in the tabletop game? You play the game. So it's like a pay-to-win game. It literally is a pay-to-win game. Oh, people are 3D printing models. We're space pirates. Same, dude.
Our final brand of Space Marines, but these ones are super special. Okay, if a guardsman is 6 foot, a Space Marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra. Earth, Terra.
Yes, thank
themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's throne room, hence Custodes. These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers. I think from a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand for hundreds of years.
That is a very majestic man.
Sleep and barely...
I am very envious of this manliness. If I could be a man, I would want to be, I'd want to be this man.
Barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room and every other area of Holy Terra for their entire purpose in life. And oh my lord, are they terrifying. These custodians put Space Marines to shame. If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win.
But like, what about the Space Wolves?
As well, like the Solar Watch, or there's also one of my
the Gold Pants.
The Aquila Shield. The Aquila Shield go out to seemingly unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant 8.5 foot tall golden god because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or something of that nature. The custodians work in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered but never outmatched. These people are pretty horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them, but that's kind of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good. And the custodians have all 3 of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready. Always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within, little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years, I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared, I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years, I stood my watch, and as it ends, I can tell you this, patience is a weapon.
This game has got my sense of scale so messed up that I read 100 years and my reaction was, that's it? That's it? 100 years? Oh man, I see how this franchise pulls people in.
The custodians are the top dogs of the Imperium, and they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence.
Women really do always want more!
The Sisters of Silence I also have a few of, and they're really fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald plume ladies are a whole group of pariahs, are also known as blanks.
Oh boy.
We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on. So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily.
They're blank.
Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them. When a sister of silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age, because they just emit a horrifying aura.
Icky.
These ladies, however,
they give everyone
are
the
guardians of the throne as well for more psychic threats. See, none of the custodians are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds.
What were the Sisters of Silence, he said these are called? Very fascinating. I forgot the name for a second. Right. Born without a soul. They don't have a soul, basically. Right. I forgot about the intrinsic nature of the soul in this universe. Souls are like, they're a cosmic currency, right? And these ladies don't have a soul. Right. Fascinating.
It's a psychic phenomena. These sisters are extremely specialized in it. All of them taking a vow of silence as they don't speak, hence the term Sisters of Silence, but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the sisters are extremely adept at dealing with it, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work a lot of the time with the custodians because they have to deal with both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that.
This is like, I'm getting distracted now. I'm thinking about the world that I'm building and the books that I'm writing. Inspiration is afoot.
Way on the tabletop. In fact, they only have like one real model for them, which is very unfortunate. I hope they'll get some like news soon, because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore, but hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about blanks, let's talk assassins.
My precious power ring, gone forever.
This is funny that like all these women have boobs still. Just like, it's so hilarious, the idea of like their peak male performance is completely unrealistic. So are boobs. The boobs are unrealistic.
It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing and then we're done. The assassins though, the Officio Assassinorum, oh boy, these people.
But how can they fight without boobs? Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. How do they fight without boobs? Like, the way women fight is like, they whip out their and they shoot lasers. And the bigger your laser. Like, what else are women good for if not shooting boob lasers?
People are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, these people will mess you up. So these are from the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization, and they are handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the what was it called? Schola Progenium. It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got.
What did that say?
What's it called? Schola Progenium. It's
LMAO, dead parents.
It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered
It's
by
the
demons or something.
nerd
You get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever. Tempest.
You thought you were Batman, but you were just a...
maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you go to one of 4 temples, because the Assassinorum works in the temple style of things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks. Poof! The Vindicare temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic sniper
I'm like
rifles
blocking
for all
him
these
so
assassins.
much.
Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from literal miles away after extremely long time periods. The Vindicare Temple is about precise, perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to single out particular body parts from
Is this armor so Is this armor or is this is this armor so tight that you can see the veins? This is so funny.
3 miles
I love
away,
that.
temples
It's a
in the
body
head,
glove.
jugular,
Do you
brains.
think it hugs the chocolate starfish the same way? Do you think if bro bends over, like you can see the creases of his Do you think you can see every wrinkle in his I am amused. I am fascinated. If I put this outfit on, I swear to God, I better see every crease in my I want to see the hair on my I'm sorry, editor Coon. It's called the 5 skin at this point. And they say women are objectified. 40k for equality. Everyone's an object. Buy it here on our store for your tabletop.
And been sitting there after weeks, and when they're ready, take that shot. Time is done. The Calidus Temple, however, is a lot more about shape-shifting and deviant art. It's mostly a female-based one, or at least it seems to be, and this allows a lot of body augmentation.
This is heresy. I can see the veins. I can see the veins on her arms. Where are her I want to see the titty!
For certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems. These assassins will end up taking missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group.
This is just somebody's latex. That's all this is. This is somebody's freaking latex. And you can't convince me otherwise. This is somebody's not even thinly. This is somebody's, they veiled this with saran wrap. This is the most overtly out of all of them. I feel like this word need to be censored on YouTube.
And slowly work their way up just to get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head and then escape unharmed. Or become the main target and sabotage it from within. These are all completely about deception, mind tricks, polymorphing, and everything in between. And lots of drawings. Lots of drawings. The Eversor Temple. Just kind of disturbing one. The Eversor Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. And Eversor
the dead should stay dead.
Psychogenically conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork style of thing of just making you forced to watch never-ending
wow, that's
pain,
horrifying.
And psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs and they cryo-freeze you. And then they drop you in an area where they just want to make sure everything is dead. And then you defrost full of just all this insane, mind-boggling psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs. And you just go to town. Yeah, if you don't care if anyone comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause, send them in. Finally, there's the most bizarre temple, the Caluxus Temple. The Caluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to the Caluxus Temple with this as well. And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They're seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people. They're described by the Eldar by quote as being pure evil. Imagine that uncomfortable.
Oh my god, to get marked as pure evil in this universe. Really? 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 How bad could they be? How bad can they be? They're just doing what comes naturally.
Comfortable feeling from that blank gene I mentioned. And then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100. If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, Oh no, the sheer presence of a Caluxus assassin is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. The Caluxus assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is, "That which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear." Now for the tabletop, assassins aren't that special. You can call them in no matter what Imperium faction you are, and they do a lot of work for themselves, but at the same time, they're very specialized and require a lot of finesse. And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some...
I did ask how bad could they be, and I did receive an answer.
Squads of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicare, and if you have a lot of psychers, Caluxus. It's a nice little, like, jack of all trades if you have a specific thing you want to kill. And you get to choose which is really fun. But now, let's talk about the last human faction. We can round this video out before we do part 2. The Inquisition.
Oh boy.
We have a lot to talk about with them.
I did not expect the Inquisition.
Oh boy. Where do I even begin with the Inquisition? Take every secret police you can think of. The KGB, the Gestapo, the CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people. And then mark it up by about 10 and give them the most power in the entire Imperium. No, you know what? How about this? This right here, it's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto, the motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat.
Oh.
Innocence proves nothing. The most powerful organization in the Imperium, the secret police.
They don't care about your innocence.
Their number one motto is innocence proves nothing. The Inquisition goes around like the secret police or like detectives to find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats,
very
and
obvious.
Malleus is demons. They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot. They are above the law in every department over Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but
I'm starting to wonder, do people in this universe actually have conversations? Do people actually, like, talk to each other? Are words exchanged ever? Or are we just, like, grunting, gunslinging meat sacks? They just blast music at each other and drop churches. Like, they just roll up in their tricked out Toyota Corolla with a boombox blaring. And they're like, thou shalt not. And just insert not for whatever faction it is.
technically they are above them as Inquisitors.
Like, where are the normal people? What are the normal people doing?
Coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like gene stealers or a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time being very diligent to make sure that all of these leads they follow are proper and correct. They're basically space detectives with just enormous power and sometimes a bit of a power complex. And we haven't even talked about Exterminatus yet. Exterminatus is deeming a planet unfit to be saved. I deem that this planet is demon infested and taking it back will cost too many resources and is not worth it.
Oh, right, because resources are what you got to worry about at this point.
This planet. I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment. This can mean cracking the planet's core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life. Yes.
Very sane, rational response.
Proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must die in its entirety. Yeah, you're playing the villain. Now it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors
yeah, you are playing the villain, huh?
To do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Now naturally, with the memes aside, there are some people who are a little bit rough on this one. But most Inquisitors generally don't like to do Exterminatus a ton, but it is an option they have. And it's a crazy option when you think about it.
Definitely not gay for Celestine.
Are unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options there and some side content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them, and they're not quite where I want them to be. Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling as well, because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a whole bunch of Space Marines killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible, horrible grimdarkness.
See, that's what I'm saying, is that everything he's been explaining and talking about, I'm like, I can't picture these. I just can't picture any of this as actual people doing actual people things. It's very interesting and fascinating and cool, but I'm struggling to picture the people as people.
Wow, we just finished the humans, all right? Come back for part 2 when we talk about Chaos and Xenos, because we got to talk about the 4 Chaos Gods and all the Chaos Marine Legions and the Tau and the Necrons and the Orcs, and oh boy, we got a lot. I'll see you in part 2.
That was every single Warhammer 40k faction explained. Part 1. Just the humans, the fact that there are multiple parts, and that was a singular hour. Where would you place me? I don't know where I would be placed. There's a lot of information there. If you liked that, leave a comment, leave a like, and maybe I'll react to more of it. Otherwise, if you would like me to react to something else, you can drop a comment about that, tell me on Twitch, or come join my Discord. Remember, friends, it is never goodbye, it is always good later. And whatever you're going through, you can get through it. Until next time, bye-bye. Spooby-dooby-doo, where are you? Got some spoobs to spoob now. Spooby, spooby, spoob. Spoop, spoop, spoob. Spoop, 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 spoop.